John McCain, while Barack Obama was warning about what we had to do, was literally giving an interview to the Wall Street Journal saying that I'm always for cutting regulation. John recently wrote an article in a major magazine saying that he wants to do for the healthcare industry, deregulate it and let the free market move like he did for the banking industry.
I've got to tell you, the American people are engaged. And if you think they want a government takeover of healthcare, I would respectfully submit you're not listening to them.
All right, so which kind of candidate are we going to see on the stage tonight? The wonky Ryan and Scranton Joe, aggressive, play it safe. Let's bring it back. And one of the things I wanted to get into, and Nick, there's this sense after the last presidential debate that facts be damned. You know, it's about style, not substance, and who's really going to go check the numbers later on. Is that true or not? Have you found that the fact-checking actually happens by the electorate, and if somebody makes things up out of whole cloth, they're going to be called for it?
Right. Well, it's it's interesting. I think that voters do care a lot about the facts. We just actually did a survey.
Enough to check, though? Yeah,
I think we did. Our company, Global Strategy Group, just did a survey where we talked about a bunch of persuadable voters, and we asked them where do they fact check candidates, and a number of them said they go online and they fact check candidates. So I think they're increasingly skeptical of what is being said to them. That doesn't mean they don't care about the facts, and that doesn't mean that they don't care about the fact checkers and what independent organizations and what their newspaper editorial boards have to say about these things. They're increasingly looking for independent validation. If you look at a lot of political ads these days, you see a lot of candidates trying to use independent validators to back up their claims. So, with everything being charged about, these things become very important.
But I will tell you, I think our business, there's such a fear about being perceived as siding with one or the other. The next day after a debate, one guy might have told 9 things that were full of it. If one guy says something and the other candidate says 1, the headline that'll greet the person who's just going to do a cursory thing is, did they tell the truth or not? They'll say they both lied. And even though it's overwhelmingly worse on one side than the other, I find not just TV, print, but every medium goes so overboard so they're not perceived as taking sides that they just muddle what the reality was. And me personally, I think, I talked to a number of people. I go, well, did you watch the debate? Yeah. I go, well, what'd you think? And he goes, well, the paper the next day said that they both were full of it, so Ryan was more persuadable. So that's what I got from, I keep getting all the time. Now, if you were Joe Biden, Dominic, we just saw in the debate that he had 4 years prior with Ms. Palin that he basically ignored her on the stage and was talking directly. He was talking directly about John McCain. Does Joe Biden go after Mitt Romney, or does he say, all right, Paul Ryan, let's talk about the Ryan plan? Because obviously, whatever your plan is, the top of the ticket's going along with it. Is he going after the guy on the stage with him, or is, in effect, the top of his ticket?
He's going to go after both. It's going to start with Mitt Romney, and I really believe that while Mr. Ryan may be wonky as it relates to the budget, I really believe that Biden is going to expose him as an empty suit on any other issue. That he's an expert that when it comes to radical far-right budgets.
Tell me how you really think.
But beyond that, he doesn't know much. And I think that we're going to see Mr. Biden expose that. I really do.
Biden was on foreign services and stuff. Let me just ask you about this. When you know more than your opponent, especially with the amount of years you put in, and you have certain disciplines, certain committees you sit on, and you know you can expose this guy as a lightweight here, do you go out of your way to pick certain subjects or certain issues to try and prove to the audience that this guy just doesn't know?
Well, first of all, Biden is not asking the questions.
Yep.
So they're both candidates are answering the questions.
You can answer whatever you want.
Secondly, better wonky than wacky. And the problem Joe Biden has is that Biden is occasionally wacky. I mean, you know that. So now the question is Joe, as an older man, a 69-year-old senior senator, going to jump ugly and get out of his skin, which is basically that of a senior senator, tolerant, facetious sometimes, but kindly Uncle Joe? Is he going to jump ugly on this energetic young kid who's trying to save America?
I think trying to
save America. I think the audience is going to say he's grumpy, he's grouchy, he's crotchety, he's old. It's time for a change. That's what they're going to say.
And what will they say about Ryan?
And what they're going to say about Ryan is he's young, young, he's energetic,
Really?
he's sincere,
But I want to
and
he
he wants to bring about
conservative.
constructive
And too
change for his
conservative.
generation
And
and for
too
his
conservative.
children. That's what he's going to say.
Amen. Let me hold that. No, but here's my thing.
Wacky and wonky.
And even guys,
Better wonky than wacky.
One second. I know anyone wants to jump in, but here's my question. In the last week or so, we have seen, really more than that, we have seen a major move from Mitt Romney to get back to the middle, okay? Would it be advantageous for, Joe Biden to say, like, hold on a second. This is what your guy just said about abortion this week. Where do you stand? Does he want to try and pit one against the other to say, so are you saying you agree with all the positions of Mitt Romney on X, Y, and Z? Or does he, can you do that?
You can do that with an inexperienced novice, but you can't do it with Paul Ryan. He's not an inexperienced novice.
We were going to find out.
You cannot do it with somebody like Paul Ryan.
Well, I think that the thing is that Mitt Romney's held all those positions. So what Joe Biden's going to do is he's going to attack Mitt Romney for holding all those same positions that Paul Ryan holds, which are too conservative, that he's anti-choice, that he wants to privatize Medicare, that he wants to give tax cuts to the wealthy, and let Paul Ryan explain that that's not, that's what he believes, but not what his nominee believes. Every moment that Paul Ryan is standing up there explaining how he and Mitt Romney disagree is a moment when the Democrats are winning.
And
you think we may see some daylight tonight between the Romney and the Ryan plan?
No, Ryan's going to try and avoid it, and Biden's just going to try and lump it all together.
And Ryan is going to point out the record. And that's going to be the essence of the debate.
I think Ryan would normally be able to evade any separation between himself and Romney by saying, I'm here to support Mitt Romney. I carry his positions. That's the administration's positions. Biden can then counter and be like, well, which ones are they? Because we don't know, because your guys had 14 or 15 of them. The last thing is just a visual from the convention. Ryan looked like he was punching at somebody out of his reach. He looked, to my eye, like a little kid on a big stage, and I think he needs to avoid that. So he has to be careful not to go after Biden with too much exasperation.
I agree with that.
I saw him also roll his eyes once when Congresswoman Wasserman and he were getting into it. He did this kind of routine. Obviously, they'll couch him against it. I think this thing's going to be fun here tonight. And again, 9 p.m., that's when our complete coverage begins. And immediately following it, we get your reaction at 10:30. We'll bring in your phone calls, emails, etc. You'll see all the numbers. We'll put them at the bottom of the screen throughout the debate. Okay, we jump to a break here on RFL. But when we come back, we're going to hold these guys to this here. They can say all the things about what they should or shouldn't do, but I want to know who they think is going to win here tonight. Their predictions right after this.